So, although there aren't any talks about any stimulus checks or any stimulus check updates coming out of the White House or the Fed, and definitely not out of Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, there could be a possibility for some form of maybe stimulus type payment for those that are affected by Hurricane Ian or any other natural disaster for that matter. And I'm going to bring you guys information about what Biden has said about releasing money and emergency funding for those possibly affected by this hurricane, which the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has already declared the state of Florida in a state of emergency, as this tropical storm has now transformed into a hurricane, potentially a Category 3, Category 4 hurricane that could possibly cause some serious damages for those in southern Florida and the Tampa region. We're already having reports of mass amounts of folks converging on grocery stores, Costco's, Sam's Clubs, Publix, Walmart's, trying to get up all they can, with even reports coming in out of Orlando saying that they're completely out of water. They're out of bottled water. Toilet paper is pretty much wiped out, and paper towels are gone too. So I want to share you guys some information with you guys about news update. Biden and DeSantis haven't spoken directly as Hurricane Ian bears down on Florida. So this is just a heads up that President Biden, and this is according to the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, that as far as Monday, the President Joe Biden has yet to speak directly to Governor Ron DeSantis. And, quote, "We don't have any calls to preview or that's locked into there or at this time. So we're going to have to wait and see. It's about the people of Florida. It's not about public officials, especially in this time." So we'll keep an eye on that and see if there's any real communication between the president and the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis. But also, Biden has approved. Now, here's where we're getting into the money. Biden has approved emergency declaration for Florida as Ian approaches. And this was released just a couple days ago. And it says that President Biden on Saturday issued an emergency declaration for the state of Florida as Tropical Storm Ian intensifies in the Caribbean. Biden's move directs federal assistance to supplement Florida's storm response, authorizing the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, and the Department of Homeland Security to help coordinate emergency relief efforts, according to the White House. Now, granted, there are some folks that just can't get out of the area, and if you can evacuate, maybe you should consider that, especially with the warnings that they have for how catastrophic this storm could be in the areas that are targeted based on the hurricane's track and trending models to be hit. And it says the president's planned trip to Florida Tuesday was also canceled due to the storm. As Florida braces for the storm's forecasted arrival, Governor Ron DeSantis on Saturday extended an emergency declaration initially set for a handful of Florida counties to apply to the entire state. So statewide emergency. DeSantis urged Floridians to monitor the storm and take precautions as it approaches. And hopefully you guys are prepared for this, have been preparing for this, and aren't in a situation now where you're kind of panicking and trying to scramble and backtrack and figure out what you can do now to get ready, because now it may actually be slightly too late, as more than likely, with reports coming in that Costco has already issued limits on purchases, especially on water and on toilet paper, which I've heard that they are completely out of. So now it may be a little tough as you approach these stores. The shelves may be empty, and you may experience some shortages of certain food shortages, water shortages, toilet paper, paper towel shortages, probably even battery shortages and gas can shortages, or anything, generator shortages. You go to Home Depot, you go to Lowe's, they may be wiped out. Sandbags, all the essentials for hurricane, probably those items have been bought and purchased, which hopefully they're not needed, which we'll have to wait and see what happens after the storm makes landfall, or after the time in which it's expected to make landfall, because I would be willing to bet that if we don't see any real damage from this storm, that would be a plus. But I would be willing to bet that we'll see a huge amount of returns for these stores, which we already know that these retailers are hemorrhaging, and getting returns of that volume of all these items back would be detrimental. And I would be shocked if they didn't try to turn away the returns because of the business side of things, where they don't have the means to process the returns, nor the ability to take the loss, because ultimately most of these items would be open box, and then the processing and the employees and the labor that they would need to get them back on the shelves and sale ready again. I would be willing to bet that they would probably turn them away. But we're also going to be looking to see what the grocery stores in particular, look like after, just to get a picture of, how this hurricane has left these stores. Probably trashed, probably in disarray, probably just run through, and anything and everything just bought up. So we're going to have to check on that in just a few days. But Tropical Storm Ian comes just a week after Hurricane Fiona hit Puerto Rico, bringing dangerous wind and flash flooding conditions, and at one point cutting power to the entire U.S. territory. After tearing past Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic in the Caribbean, Fiona made its way north to hit Nova Scotia and other parts of Canada as a post-tropical cyclone. So it's, this storm, although projected for southern Florida, could potentially have impacts across the East Coast, possibly. Who knows? And Republicans are debating over bills targeting certain aspects of this, but we're not going to make this political. We're going to stick to the facts here and what's most important. Ian is expected to push past Jamaica and Cuba before approaching the Florida Keys and becoming a major hurricane. Now, this was written Saturday, so we know what the projected path is, and hopefully you guys are ready. Hopefully you guys are prepared. I really hope that when it's all said and done, nobody's affected by this, and it's just maybe just a little bit of some high waves and some high winds, and we can move past this and hopefully have a pretty calm hurricane season without catastrophic damages, which the damages I told you guys in previous videos could potentially roll over into financial damages, as this could hurt local economies and hurt people's income and hurt people's paychecks, hurt people's savings, hurt people's credit if they even have any available. Because you got to think, perhaps maybe you're in a situation where you are technically not prepared, you're unprepared, and you're doing all you can to make sure that you are prepared for the storm. So you run out and you buy food and groceries and necessities and water and toilet paper and generators and gas and candles and batteries and anything and everything you could think that you may need. You put it on a credit card that you don't necessarily have the money to pay for, but you're trying to do all you can to prepare you and yourself and your family for what could be. And that's just not a good way to be. And it doesn't have to be that way either. But here we are today. We're going to handle this issue at hand. But, when this is all said and done, we do need to have another conversation about how we can improve our finances to put ourselves and our families in a position to not have to worry about deciding on whether or not we're going to buy food, or if we're going to pay bills, or if we're going to buy necessities and be better prepared for any event that could possibly happen, or buy groceries. And, with the job market the way that it is, any hiccup and disruption in the supply chain or in the economy or in the consumer spending, especially now as we're rolling into the holiday season, this could be devastating for many. Hopefully not, but I'm going to continue to monitor this and bring you guys updates as they come about. You guys stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.